Hey, this is Chantal Girardi from Online Business Marketing, and today we're going to be talking about short form video creation. Short form video creation for stories, for reels, and for shorts are an absolutely great way for you to create engaging content, and it has to be an ongoing thing that we have to do. So obviously we want to make it as simple as possible. So I'm going to talk about how to do it, how to plan it, how to manage it. I'm also going to talk about how you can optimize it by using hashtags, stickers, captions, and then also around how to make data-driven decisions when you're creating that content. Which is super awesome. I have this way now, I've got it so down packed that I'm constantly just taking short little snippets of video content all the time. And then I can quite easily myself or give it to one of my social media managers, and then they can create content from that. So I'm going to give you some ideas today in order to be able to do that. So firstly, why does short form content matter in 2025? Well, it's because we have got the attention span of like a goldfish. And basically people are scrolling through. So instead of watching long form content, they're looking for short little bits of interesting things that are going to hold their attention and evoke curiosity. And if the short stuff gets them, they'll go then to the longer stuff. So this is why it's so important to do it. People also get kind of bored of the ongoing sort of static images where you've just got like an image and an image and an image and like an image of me and an image of me and an image of me. They want to see moving sort of reality TV type content, which is really important. We're also going to be talking about different tools like CapCut, Descript, or Canva, and how you can also use them to help you. And we'll just talk about some other editing tools as well that you can do in order to be able to do this as simply as possible. As I said, this is an ongoing thing now that I do. I've always got my phone. I always let everyone know, we did a birthday thing on the weekend and I was like, right, the camera's coming around, guys. The camera's coming around, so smile, or if you don't want to be in it, turn your back to it, or let me know. And then the camera goes, and literally that's 10 seconds of everybody at the table, showing the food, showing people, they know it's coming. And then I've got it in my phone. And as I said, I like to edit it in my phone and then favorite it, because that way when I go to do my reel or I go to do something, I just go to my favorited items and they're already edited. So like the person who was pulling a face at the end or the beginning, I've snipped it out to the most exciting part. And I do that on my phone straight away, because when I add it anywhere else, it makes the job so much easier because it's done before you're actually doing it in Canva or in Descript or in anywhere else. So that's one of my tips. So short form video obviously helps because it does help you get high visibility. Most of the reels and the stories and the shorts go to non-followers. This is really important because really what we're trying to do is find our ideal customer or qualify our ideal customer in the non-followers category. We want to build that know, like, and trust and get them across to becoming followers. So when you put a good piece of short form content out there and it hooks the right person, then those people then will make a decision then, oh, actually, let me go stalk this person, let me check them out and let me become a follower. So it's really important to know that stories and reels and shorts, very important for getting new non-followers. I can tell you right now, today, June, birthday week for me, June, in 2025, I can tell you right now that putting YouTube Shorts up has made a significant difference to subscribers on YouTube. So YouTube Shorts are increasing our subscribers on YouTube more than anything else, and that's with non-followers. So we are really it's really imperative that you have that short form video to support the long form video that's actually going up on YouTube. Why short form video matters, it's also for a faster connection because it's about hooking that non-follower, that complete stranger, hooking them, qualifying them, and getting them to come across to your other content. The other reason short form really matters is because you can take one piece of long form and you can chop it up into short form content. We take our podcasts that are done with video and with audio, we add them into Descript. We ask ChatGPT to find the best quotes that I've said throughout that in alignment with the business and our audience and what we're trying to achieve. And then we go and we find we it'll show us the quote where it is. We then go into Descript, we find where that is, and we literally snip it. And we've now got a snippet, a portrait snippet with the words written over in Descript. That's what we do. It's so easy. And we can just get so many quotes. So if you want to know what I'm talking about, go on to Chantel Girardi Online Business Marketing Instagram channel. There are 2 Chantel Girardi channels. So there's a personal brand and a business brand. You'll see the difference between the 2. Go to the business one and you'll see the portrait videos and you'll see what we've done. We've cut our podcast recordings to include quotes that we've discussed, and it makes it so much easier. So this is a great thing that your virtual assistant can do, because if you're running out of what reels to make or what should I say, if you're doing any form of long form content, masterclasses, podcasts, webinars, you can simply chop them up into fast little quotes and then put them as stories, shorts, or reels. And as I said earlier, it's fantastic for people who like short form content. People be scrolling, so they're looking for short form content that's going to grab them. So it needs to stop the right person from scrolling. It needs to make a high impact, and it needs to make them make a decision to either follow you, like you, or go look at your other content. That's the whole purpose of it. So one of the biggest things that's important to note is that you do need to look at your data in order to make data-driven decisions. So rather than just saying, I need to do reels and doing 1,000 reels, and there's so many, for example, e-commerce businesses that are doing 90-second reels, and yet people are only watching 30 seconds to 60 seconds. What's the point of doing a 90-second and spending all that time and money and virtual assistants to create that if people are actually only watching 15 to 30 seconds? So it's important that you go into your insights on Instagram, on Facebook, in YouTube Studio, and actually see what's happening, see the impact of your reels. Another thing to note as well, for example, is if you're posting on Facebook and allowing it to go to Instagram, your highest reach will be on Facebook. If you're on Instagram and you post directly to Instagram and allow it to go to Facebook, Instagram will have the most growth. So it's important that you also know which way you're sharing it, which is really, really important. For us, Facebook's our primary platform, so we post on Facebook and allow it to go to Instagram. But you do need to have a look at the data to go, is this actually working? Because a lot of people go, oh, reels, and you get such a reach and you do whatever. Some of my single image posts do better, and some of my carousel type posts do better than reels. And the only way you're going to know that is if you go in and you have a look. So you have to make data-driven decisions. Go, is it the day? Is it the time? Is it the type of content? You've got to look at it and go, why is this not working? And why is this working? And figure that out. And you got to, and changes all the time. So you're got to keep watching it all the time, because it does actually watch. And as I said earlier, one of the things you do have to watch is the drop-off time. So for example, if I post something, the data will say to you, usually this is what people do, but this content is doing that. So you're going, oh, actually that time that I posted was better. The hook must have been better. The beginning must have been better, because all of a sudden the drop-off rate is declining, which is great. People are staying on for a bit longer. So you do need to have a look at the data that they're giving you. You've got to test it out. That's the only way to kind of work out what works and what doesn't work. So let's talk about remixing. Remixing is a really easy way to get started when it comes to sort of, if you're looking at reels. But basically there are short form videos that are already trending. And when you go into Instagram and you look at the trending videos and audio clips, you can remix it. So it's already been created. You can remix the video, you can remix the audio, and you can then make it into something that's now relevant for you. We've had great success with this, because if it is trending, people are searching for it online, and you're more likely to get found by that person. Just remember that platforms always want you to be relevant to it needs to be relevant to my business, but it needs to be relevant to my audience as well. So you're not just remixing cats and dogs because you think they're funny. You do have to relate it back to your business. There has to be some sort of a connection point between it. So you can remix reels, and you can then put your own commentary into it, or your own reactions, or your own sort of tutorials or top tips. You can just use the trending audio as well, because some people are just searching trending audio. Something that I did this weekend on ChatGPT, which was kind of cool, because I'd done iFly, and I'd done an iFly reel, and I'd used the Tones Fly Away trending audio. I love that song, but I didn't want to use it again because I'd already used that for iFly. So I went into ChatGPT and I said, look, I've already used this one. Can you find me another song that's trending, that's about flying, that's kind of like Tones? And it came up with about 10 different ones, and I was able to choose one. So it's the first time I've ever done that, and it completely shortened my time of having to sit there and go through all the audio, because it suggested a couple of trending audios that I was able to use for that. So and if you want to go listen, go into my personal brand, Chantel Girardi, on Instagram, and you'll find the find me flying, and you'll see what song I chose. And cool. So how do you spot trends? So when you're scrolling through the videos or you're scrolling through the audios, they've got like a little fire, like little, you'll notice it's got like a little fire, like a hot trending kind of thing. But again, even though it's trending, it still needs to be relevant to your audience, and it still needs to be relevant to what you're doing. So for example, some of the trending sounds might be, I don't know, like an orchestra or something, and that's not me. Like I love the jumpy kind of dancey kind of music stuff. So it does need to be brand relevant as well. You can look at the music label, and you can look to see whether or not it's trending, or if it's got lots of users. That's another way to tell, like if a lot of people are actually using it. And you'll just notice, like if you're scrolling through feeds as well, you'll notice that the same sort of songs are coming up. You'll notice the same sort of dances, or the same sort of like routines or POVs, point of view posts are coming up, and then you'll go, that must be trending. What is that? And we've got no excuses nowadays, because literally you can go into ChatGPT, and even like me, you can go, what does POV mean? Which I didn't know in the beginning when I first started seeing it come out, and it's point of view. Now I just go into ChatGPT and I just go, can you create some POV posts regarding online business marketing and my business for my audience and what we're trying to achieve? And it will actually give you some POV ideas as well, which is awesome. So you also want to be watching what other people are doing in your niche or your industry, what other creators are doing as well. And I always say this, it's great that you're posting and you're doing stuff, but you've still got to, on an ongoing basis, be researching what's happening online. For example, what's trending at the moment, the little baby. The baby, you can now have a little baby you, and the baby you can go share top tips. And that's what's trending at the moment. So it's like, okay, well, that's trending. I'm seeing people do it. How do I go and do that? Ask ChatGPT. We have no excuses anymore. You don't even have to watch my YouTube channel. Go straight to ChatGPT. And then, of course, you can leverage it. So the way to leverage it is if you can notice some trending audios that you like and you're scrolling through, simply save them to your audio library. And then you can obviously then create your own version as well. And as I said, you need to adapt it to your niche. You need to adapt it to your industry and your audience. So for example, if there's a trending lip sync sort of thing going on, you could then lip sync it and make it about a client success story. If there's a trending at the moment about the day in the life of, you could then go, day in the life of being a marketing manager. So you don't need to dance all the time, and you don't need to twerk, especially if you're not any good at it. I always say you've either got to be hilariously funny at it, because that'll work, or you've got to be really good at it, because that'll work. Anything in between those two things, probably don't do it. Which is kind of cool. All right, so let's talk about the types of short form video and what we're going to do and how they work. So for example, we've got stories, right? So you've got Instagram stories, Facebook stories, and they are 15 seconds per slide in a portrait look. You can use this for daily updates, behind the scenes, polls, product walkthroughs. I love this because they're only there for 24 hours. There's so many people who are watching stories. You can actually see, stories is the only one where you can actually see who's looking at your content. So I love that because I can see the same people coming in and checking out my content. So stories is a great way to do it. That doesn't have to be perfect because it's going to be gone in 24 hours. So it can be raw, it can be real. You can add stickers, add music, add captions. You can add little emojis and little countdowns. And you can add links. That's the most amazing thing, is that, you go to the little square smiley face, you can go in there and you can actually add your links as well. So stories are a great way. I always say, actually, this is a great thing that business owners can do because it's so easy to do. You can just take little pictures during the day, add it to a story, and just do a quote or, say something insightful about what you do or your business. I quite like it for the business owner still to manage it because I think it's really easy for them to do on the go. Or if not, fine. You can basically take those short form videos, send them to your virtual assistants, and they can of course put the content up. So let's talk about Reels then. So for Reels, we've got Instagram and we've got Facebook Reels, and they're up to 90 seconds. Most people are still like around the 30-second mark. So put your most exciting stuff up front. And then the other stuff that you kind of want to have for your memories, and put that down at the end. You can use your Reels for tutorials, for testimonials, for value bombs, and B-rolls. B-rolls are probably the easiest and best way for you and a virtual assistant to manage it, because you can go around, take a whole bunch of short form videos of 15 to 30 seconds on different things. So for example, when I was in the Philippines, there's me jumping off rope swings and sliding down waterfalls and climbing up waterfalls. And all those little bits of footage or whatever can simply be sent across to your virtual assistant, and the virtual assistant can go, right, I can now make, top tips about marketing related to swinging of waterfalls, climbing up waterfalls, sliding down waterfalls, and make it about marketing, 3 top tips. And you can make it still relevant, right? In Reels, so down at the bottom, once you go into your Reel, as I said, I prefer you to actually edit it on your phone. So when you add it into the Reel to actually create it, it's already edited, so it's so much easier. And then when you add it onto your phone into a Reel, the easiest way to do it is to, what I like to do is add it in the order that you think you're going to kind of want. So don't just add it. Like for me, I go, I'm probably going to want that one, then that one, then that one, then that one. And I kind of put in the order, because when I get inside there, it's so tiny. I don't have to worry about sorting it out. It's just so easy to do. And then inside there, you can obviously write your captions. You can decide where the image, if you want images on certain parts of the video, be mindful of if you're going to be writing over somebody's face. So you do want to have a look at the transitions and just make sure that when it does go, that you're not writing over the most important media sort of part. And then of course you can edit it. So you can go and you can increase it and edit. And as I said, I don't quite like to do that there. I prefer to do it on my phone. And then I add my text, I add my music, or you can add a voiceover. And then add your captions. And then of course the most important part is to add the first image that it shows. And that's really important. So the first image that you put up is the most important, because that is the one that people see first. So you do want that to be like almost like a YouTube thumbnail. You want it to be really scroll stoppable. And then of course we've got shorts. So shorts are great for quick tips, thought leadership snippets, quotes from podcasts or your YouTube videos. So whenever we put up our masterclasses and our podcast, we put the short form videos in there. And then those short form videos point people to our channel. And we've noticed a massive increase in our subscribers by just doing YouTube shorts. With the short form is actually helping us get people to look at our long form content. B-roll footage, we spoke about that earlier. It's basically behind the scenes kind of content. So it's video of you just doing anything. It could be a sunset, your dog walking, you jumping off a waterfall, riding a horse, whatever it is. But it's basically any background footage. It could be you working at a computer, doing a podcast, whatever it is. It's just background footage. And then you could put something relevant about your business on top of it, which makes it really easy. You can overlay voice, text, trending sounds. It's really an easy way to do it, especially if you don't want to do face to camera speaking. So if you really don't want to be in front of a camera and talking, this is a great way, because you can still just be in the background doing whatever, and then you could just have words on it. Or if you don't want your face on camera at all, you can just have sunsets, beach, dogs, whatever. So be peopleless, and then you can still put all your words and stuff on top of it. So it makes it really, really easy to do. All right. So how do you create short form videos? And number one, you've got a plan, right? It all starts with the planning first. So it's like, what we do is we just get a whole lot of background footage, and then we've got a whole content library of short form video that we can access. Then it's about going, well, what is our call to action at the moment? What is our overall strategy? What are we trying to achieve? Who's the person that we're trying to achieve that for? And then it's going, well, how can we convince them? What type of content is going to convince them to make that decision of what that call to action is? And then we find a relevant background video that we can use. We'll create a hook. So a hook that's going to stop the right person from scrolling. And then, of course, we'll add value in the caption, which is going to obviously teach them something, inspire them to do something, or entertain them. And, you know, we like to use the EATS method, which is education, aspire, tell a story, or start a conversation. So you'd make a decision as to what's going to be the right convincer for that. And then from there, you're going to have a relevant call to action. So what is the next step that you want the person to do? If they've been hooked in, they like your content, what is the next step that you want them to take? So again, a quick tip for you is to go into ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT to generate you some ideas or hooks that are going to be around the idea of helping this person to make this decision. Because if you don't give ChatGPT the context and the human intelligence, it's going to spit out something really general. So it's always, what are you trying to get that person to do? If you can give ChatGPT that context, it will then help you to create those hooks. It'll help you to create, you know, the short form video content ideas. Step 2 then is obviously you've got to make sure that you've got the footage. And as I said, we just always keep footage everywhere. So no fancy gear. We just make sure that we've got video content, short form, constantly on my phone, and it's constantly being uploaded and given to my virtual assistant. And you do want it in portrait. It's really funny. It's a massive joke. Whenever we go to a restaurant, we do anything, and I ask people to take a photo, they always go in landscape, and all my friends go, can you do that in portrait now, please? And they look at me because they know that that's what I'm going to be asking them to do. So it's like, never take a landscape photo. You're never going to be able to use it. Just always portrait. And then, as I said, for me, it's just so much easier to either add it to an album, edit it on the phone, do everything on your phone. So it's almost done. So by the time I actually give it to the virtual assistant, it's edited already. And then, of course, you want to make sure that you can use the things that are on your phone. So you use that little square smiley face. It's the stickers panel. You can use GIFs. You can add a location. You can put in a poll. And, of course, tag people. So the more of those features you use in the short form video, the better it's going to be. So if you are, whatever you can use, and if you go to my stories, you'll see, if there's an option for music, I'll add music. If there's an option for a sticker, I'll add a sticker. I still make it relevant, and I don't make it cringy. Well, I hope I don't. But you still want to make sure that you're using all those features, because that is what helps determine the reach of that. So remember, I always talk about this. They don't give us those features to make our life fun. They give us those features because those features allow them to know what the content's about so that they can help share it, right? The next thing as well is hashtags. And you can also add hashtags into the stories as well, and into the reels as well. Of course, then you've also got the option of adding text. There's different types of fonts. There is also a bounce feature, glitch features. There's even now the editing one that makes your skin nice and smooth, which is the one I like to use for my YouTube thumbnails. I like to add it in there and use that filter to kind of like give me polished skin. And you can even have different transitions and things as well. So make sure that you go in there and you spend some time exploring the different features. The good thing as well is that when you are in there, you can also save them as a draft. And I highly recommend this. The amount of times one of my clients has said to me that they was like spending half an hour to do a reel, were almost ready to push like go. And they didn't save it as a draft, and the next minute the thing spun and they lost everything and they had to start again. So I'm like a big fan of like saving as a draft like all the time, so I don't run into trouble. And then of course, like on the reels, on the actual reels itself, there's all different things you can do. So add the trending music, use different sound effects, apply voiceovers, playing with the filters and transitions, the time captions, and even templates or remixes. There's so many different options there that you can look at. But there also are some editing apps So we personally use CapCut, which allows us to add in some transitions and AI captions, B-roll montages. So if you don't actually have B-roll footage, they actually have B-roll footage. Also green screens and cut points are in there. Another one that we like to use is Pexels, so Pexels. Pexels.com allows you to have stock-free video footage, and you can go in there and find the stock-free video image to use. Canva Pro has video templates, allows you to put a logo overlay over it, animated text and reusable layouts, especially if you wanted to have like a theme. And Descript, which is what we've been using since we've been doing our podcast, makes it super simple to do. On a desktop, you can upload the video, you can edit all the transcripts. So for example, all our Zoom footage, our podcast footage, our masterclass footage, all goes into Descript on a desktop and can be easily edited on a desktop. So we really like that. Edit the text, and then like determine your snippets and that you want to do. So what we do is we take the transcript, we put it into ChatGPT, we ask it for it to find the best quotes, then we find where that is in the audio and the video, and then we cut it, and you can it's so easy. You just snip it, and now you've got your reel. It's so easy to do. So if you use something like CapCut, they've got like an auto caption, like an AI auto caption that you can do. But again, please use your human intelligence. Just like ChatGPT, I don't like subject lines. They're subject line suggestions. Please make sure that the auto captions that they give you are actually relevant to what you're trying to do. Don't be lazy and go, okay, that's okay, I'll just use that. Rather think about your strategy. Also make sure that you're also using your brand elements as well, so that there's a consistent theme across everything and everything feels brand aligned. And then of course, once you've created them in those different apps or in those different places, then you would then go put them in the relevant place. So if you're using a Go High Level product like OBM Hub, OBM Hub has a social media scheduling option. So once you've actually created your short form video content, you've created it, you upload it to the media section inside OBM Hub, and then you can schedule that content to go out to Facebook, to Instagram as reels or stories. All right, cool. So turning long form videos into short form videos, we spoke about it, but we use our podcast. Our podcast gets chopped into multiple reels. Any Zoom content that we do, for example, testimonials, if I'm talking to a client and they talk about how amazing we are, we then snip that up, and now that becomes a reel as well. And then masterclasses, webinars, these are all other amazing things that you can do. You can do it in YouTube Studio as well. We use Descript. It's a lot easier, I think. Okay, so where do you store your content and share it with your virtual assistant? I've got a couple of clients who do have different methods of doing it. And we've got 2 virtual assistants who are live with us today. So when we stop the recording, I will ask them how they plan on managing it. One of my clients, they have a shared Google Photos. So if they're using Google Photos on their phone and Google Video, and they're sharing, and whatever they're putting on there, that automatically then goes to the virtual assistants. They've got access to that. You just want to make sure that you're not taking your nudie pictures and putting them on there, because your virtual assistants now have access to that as well. So disclaimer for that. Another ways to do it is you can upload them straight into a Google Drive, like into a document. But whatever you do, you've got to make sure that you're basically giving your VA some media assets. So whether or not you're giving them a publishing pack, whether or not you're going to go straight into Canva, that's another way that you can do it. So Canva on your phone, it is a bit clunky on your phone, but you can go into your phone, upload the video or the photos into the Canva folder. Is what I would do, is add it into the Canva folder, then they can go in there and they can make it. Or if it's going to go into Descript, then we would upload it onto Google Drive, so they can just download it on a desktop and just go and put it into Descript. So when it comes to hashtags and captions, of course, always do your research. Of course, always make it relevant to you, your audience, and the platform. But you want to be using 3 to 15 hashtags depending on which platform you're on. So in order to work that out, go and have a look at a previous blog that we created on onlinebusinessmarketing.com.au under the freebies section, where it talks about the different platforms and how many hashtags you're supposed to do on the platforms and how you actually come up with them. But a general guideline for this would be to have your one personal brand hashtag, which might even be the name of your business, maybe then like a niche or industry specific hashtag, and then you would want a couple that are problem or solution focused. Again, relevant to what that particular form of content is about. It is really important to note that you should not be overcrowding text onto the video. We find that this is a common thing that virtual assistants can do, is that when it comes to the image or the video, there's heaps of content on it. It's actually only ever really a hook or a statement piece. And our recommended guideline is only 25% of the whole image is actually covered in text. It's the caption that you write, the actual post, that is where the content goes. The content needs to go in the post, not on the image. The image is about stopping the right person from scrolling and evoking enough curiosity. But it is important for us to make sure that our post, the actual post, is written correctly to our audience, because the platforms can't read images. They can only read what you put into the platform. So therefore, that's how they determine with the algorithm where they're going to be taking your content and putting it out to. So that's really important to note. So you want to have your hook, which again, hooks are great for on the image or the video. And if you have a look at my reels, I actually don't put a lot of words onto my reels anyway. So it's a hook. It's then connection. So connecting with their pain and what they're struggling with, show them you know them. Credibility, which is then around why this, some tips or context. And then the call to action. So what do you want them to do? Like if they're happy about what they've just read, is it a private message? Is it a book a call? Is it go to my website? Is it click a link in my bio? What is the relevant call to action? So the final tips is that you want to make sure that the videos are snappy. As I said, we find that most videos, up to 30 seconds when it comes to reels. So 30 seconds, it doesn't need to be long, which is kind of good. We don't need to be making these freaking long videos and spending hours editing reels. 30 seconds, although you get 90 seconds to do that. Show your face and your voice. I mean, at some point you need to do that, especially if you have a personal brand and your personal brand is part of your business brand. It is important for you to show your face and show your voice, because people will connect with you in that way, and it helps to build trust. And what we know is that trust shortens the sales cycle. It shortens the sales cycle. You want to use emotion, humor, truth bombs, inspiration, behind the scenes. So you want to put some of your personality into there. If you're introverted, that's absolutely fine. Your energy is going to be consistent the way that you are, which is great. So you do you. And then of course, remixing is another great method of you being able to share that short form content if you don't want to be making up content, is to find trending content, video content in your industry right now that other people are following, and remix it relevant to what it is that you're offering. Really important. And then, of course, make sure that you're communicating with your virtual assistants. So it's really, really easy if you're the business owner and you're doing it because you've got the video footage on your phone, you've got the context, you've got the ideas. You have to make sure that if you've got a virtual assistant who is creating reels for you, that they have context, that they've got the overall marketing strategy and plan, that they know the outcome that you are wanting to achieve. And then, of course, they've got an implementation plan of where are you going to be uploading those videos to, when are we going to meet to come up with what that overall strategy and outcome is going to be, and then making sure that they're then going in and scheduling that content as part of their content plan. And then, of course, the last thing is looking at that data and going, did that work? Didn't that work? Why did it work or didn't work? What should we be doing or not doing again? Which is really important. And then just stay in the loop. Like, a lot of people, especially my family, will say to me, oh, Chantel, did you see my content? And you didn't engage in my content on social media. And I'm like, I get on and I do what I need to do for work and I get off because I do that for myself and I do it for my clients. And so I'm not really going on and engaging in like friends and family stuff so much anymore because, like I don't want to spend my life online. But at the end of the day, what you do need to do is pay attention to your customers' content, to what your customers are engaging on online. So wherever your customers are spending time, you need to be looking at that, and you need to be looking at that and paying attention to that, because that's how you get to know your customers better. And then look at what's trending, and then look at and get some ideas of what you're doing. Often I'll see like a funny little skit or a funny little whatever, and I'll go, great, I'm just going to recreate that funny little skit or that little thing, right? And I'll go, yep, I can do that, but it needs to be relevant. What's trending at the moment? Birthday week, June in 2025. POVs trending, unboxings are trending, behind the scenes are trending, truth bombs are trending. They are all sort of, and again, it's all kind of that shock stuff that's trending. Anything to do with like trending music at the moment. So for example, people doing little dances and stuff, that's always kind of trending. If you can dance, or if you're funny when you dance, you'll get away with it. If not, stay away from it. There's other tricks that you can do. All right, so that's about it today. For those of you who are watching on YouTube, if you haven't already, please make sure that you subscribe and click the notifications bell to turn it on so you get notifications when our content comes through. Well, our masterclass content comes through weekly, and our podcast content comes through weekly or fortnightly. You do need to be part of our paid audience in order to be able to get the next part, which is super cool, which is basically frequently asked questions and what is working for them right now, the business owners and the virtual assistants, and how can they apply what they've learned today to their marketing plan moving forward. This is Chantel Girardi from Online Business Marketing.